Okay, so now let's look at the second part of the paper, or the first. It doesn't really matter which part you do first, as long as you leave enough time for both sections. This is the long-form TV drama section, and just like news, you're going to have 1 hour to complete this. It's 40 marks, just over a mark a minute, and again, time is not going to be your friend. Attack the question, move on. The difference here being that a 30-mark question should take you about 45 minutes to write. And also, the difference is that this is an in-depth study, so you should be able to draw on all 4 key tenets of the media course that you've studied: language, representation, audience, and industries, and theories, and all contexts of social, cultural, economic, historical, etc. The challenge with this question is, given it's so broad, is not just telling me everything you know, but curating your answer to not just splurge out information and knowledge, but making sure that your answer fully satisfies the question. And there's a couple of simple ways of doing that. But before we get into that, you have to be honest with yourself and consider how confident are you with the theorists, because the theorists are going to be important to you. I'm going to try and give you as much help as I can with this, like I did with the news section as well. So with news, you need to know these guys, and you need to know these guys as well. So it's media representations and media industries that you need to know pretty well. So because it's a synoptic question, you've got to refer to these theories. It may ask you to look at a particular, it may give you a particular theorist within question 3. It may not. It may give you it almost certainly will give you a particular focus in question 4. So you must give theory in your answers. There's no shirking away from this. And this is really important. Referring to theorists from different areas of the theoretical framework is one effective way for students to meet the synoptic requirement of the question. So what the exam board is saying is that if you choose to talk about Hall, for example, go ahead and then talk about Hesmondhoff, because those are 2 different sections, representation and industry. There's 2 different sections of the course. So if you talk about 2 different theorists from 2 different areas, that means you are hitting the synoptic nature of these questions. I think it's important to know how the marks are allotted. We're split into 2. So there's 20 marks for AO2. Look and see what AO2 is. It's the knowledge and understanding of the theoretical frameworks to analyse the media products. So it's your knowledge of the theorist to say, I can use this theorist when analysing media language, I can use this theorist when analysing media representation, and especially in relation to the contexts. But this is also important to make judgments and draw conclusions. So can you apply this theorist effectively? Does it work? Does it influence the audience? Has it influenced the audience? It's this little bit here which often leaves students floundering somewhat. The initial 10 marks is for just your knowledge of the processes of making and distributing and circulating the 2 episodes that you're looking at. So how was Stranger Things made? How was The Killing made? And it's the influence. It's how those 2 episodes were made, and your knowledge and understanding of how they were made and how they were produced, which will get you those 10 marks. So that's AO1 and AO2. So here we go. This is the knowledge and understanding, the KU, to analyse 2 set products. So it's the theoretical frameworks, the context, and the theory. And what you need to do is use your reasoning, come to judgments, and use a synoptic format in order to squeeze as much out of the question as possible. This is the top mark here: a comprehensive, detailed, and accurate application of knowledge and understanding of the media theoretical framework, media context, and media theory to analyse the 2 set products. All of this relies on your ability to know your products inside out, which is why we've spent so long going back over these episodes and going back over their production, distribution, and the context in which they were made, of course. So all that being said, let's think about the question itself. It's 30 marks. You should spend about 45 minutes writing it, which will leave you 15 minutes for question number 4. Obviously, you're reading the question and then just follow the bullet points. Remember to use the 2 types of theorist. So let's go ahead and have a look at the 2019 paper and have a look at this question. Now, I know this question you've seen before because I did it in a previous video. The difference in the codes and conventions of long-form TV drama reflect the different values, attitudes, and beliefs of the audience that consume them. You're likely to get a statement like this, and then how far do you agree with the statement? So this is where the drawing and judgments and the reaching of conclusions are likely to come. Do you agree with this statement? Is it entirely plausible, and is it entirely correct, or are there parts of your argument which disagree with the statement? What the exam board have done is they've given you 4 bullet points, and these bullet points are very similar to the bullet points that you will receive within your January exam. Consider the context in which long-form TV dramas are produced. Explain how media context may have influenced the codes and conventions in the set episode. Refer to the relevant academic ideas and arguments, those are the theorists, and then make judgments and reach conclusions. So it's 30 marks and it's 45 minutes of writing. Now, what I will say, having read a lot of your work, is that you absolutely must go back to the question at every paragraph and at every possible opportunity to use the key terms. So in this case, it's codes and conventions, and then values, attitudes, and beliefs, and audience. You've got to be using topic sentences, which then answer the question in the introduction, and then every single first sentence that you use, go back to the key words, so that the examiner will be able to say, okay, well, this person knows that they're answering the question on codes and conventions. They're continuously going back to values, attitudes, and beliefs. They're focusing on the audience, even though you might go ahead and talk about industry and language, etc. You've still got that key quote at the heart of your statement and the heart of your essay. So I suggest you start off every paragraph that you do with a topic sentence which includes these key terms, and you finish each of those paragraphs with a completing sentence which again includes these key terms. So the examiner is being flagged that you need to look at this because I'm answering the question in detail. So once you've got your question, you can plan, and the plan will naturally depend on the keywords of the question, but fundamentally the question will always be about the differences between the 2 shows, whether that's a difference within the genre, or whether it's a difference in the way that they were produced, a difference in the ownership, whatever it might be. It's the differences between the 2 of them, and then how the audiences have reacted to those differences. So you can deconstruct the question, and you need to re-answer the question within your macro opening paragraph. You talk about the differences between the 2 different industries, so Netflix versus DR, or the US versus Denmark, or public service broadcasting versus private, whatever it is. You have to think big in your introduction and always start off with a macro paragraph. Then you go into 1 paragraph per framework. So I've started with audience because the question does focus on audience. Again, it's a difference question. So what's the difference? Millennials versus Generation Z, older versus younger. ABC1 demographic of the killing on BBC4 when it did come across into the UK in 2011 versus the virtually universal appeal of Stranger Things using genre hybridity and intertextuality, pulling these genre conventions from well-known and tried and tested genres from the 80s. Then go into industry. So what's the ownership structures and the differences? Think about the formats. Think about the changes in technology between 2007 and 2016. Think about linear nature of watching The Killing on BBC4 and the more traditional formatting of the traditional nature of which it was presented back in 2007 in 1 hour slots, or it was a double bill on BBC4, but it was on a weekly basis, so it was impossible to watch it all in one. Now, because of audience change, Netflix has introduced bingeability, and that's why things have changed so significantly. Think about the representations, and within representations, you'd be hard-pressed not to talk about media language. So talk about how the kids and the adults are represented in Strange Things. Think about how Lund and Maya are represented in The Killing. Think about how Denmark is represented in 2007 versus the USA in 1980. And in terms of production, the USA in 2016 versus Denmark in 2007. Think about the political shenanigans that are going on, the behind-the-scenes gossip of trolls and then think about the domestic trauma as felt by Tice and Peniel versus the heroics of the kids in Stranger Things, and the presentation of Joyce, the presentation of Hopper, etc. Theorists, obviously, you have to think about the question, but there are going to be a number of theorists that apply to any question on long-form TV drama. Now, I sent you a document there going through every single theorist and then applying it to long-form TV drama, both with their positives and their limitations. Have a good look at that PowerPoint, because it'll be super useful to you going forward. And then finally, you come to a conclusion, and your conclusion will mirror your introduction. Your introduction is setting out your stall, explain the differences between the two. Your conclusion will again go back and explain why you decided to choose the things that you've spoken about, and then fundamentally and importantly come to those judgments and conclusions. Has it worked? Are those the major effects? Are those the major differences that have made Stranger Things so important, or The Killing such a cult hit? So question 4 is next, and for a more in-depth appreciation of question 4, there's a video, long-form TV drama question 4 on the Whitley Bay High School YouTube account. Again, evaluate the usefulness of, and it's very similar to the news question. In fact, it's exactly the same as the news question. So the format has to be the same as well. Let's have a quick look at the 2019 question. Evaluate the usefulness of one of the following theories in understanding long-form TV drama. Hesman, Hoff, or Butler. And again, those are the examples that I used in my in my video. So what I can tell you is that for question 4, you need to choose the theory that you're most comfortable with, make a one-line summary, apply to Stranger Things, apply to The Killing, conclude, and that's it. You can't afford to spend a huge amount of time doing anything else. Just be succinct, be direct, and attack the question. The most important thing you can do for this question, though, as you know that it will be an industry theorist or a pair of industry theorists that will be given to you within this question, is do a table similar to this one in the video. So this will ensure that all bases are covered. So the one-line summary of the theorist, how do you apply it to Stranger Things, how do you apply it to The Killing, and what are their limitations? This will ensure that in any circumstance, whatever the question is, you'll be able to answer it confidently. Just to remind you that this particular question is vast, for question 3 particularly is vast, but there are resources available for you to look at. Check out the videos that are on the site already. They're in 3 parts, and it does take, well, actually it's in 4 parts, and it takes 15 minutes each, but it is pretty exhaustive, and it talks through each of the AOs and how they apply and how to plan effectively for any question 3 question. And similarly for a question 4 question, you can go ahead and have a look at the reply or the response, but fundamentally it is outline the theorist, apply to Strange Things, apply to The Killing, make a conclusion, and move on. Best of luck with this. Naturally, if you have any questions, email me directly or email your teachers. Thanks for listening.